The small garage sale sat at the end of a quiet street, barely noticed by passing cars. Old chairs, worn boxes, and faded tools were spread across the driveway under the warm morning sun. Most people walked past without slowing down. There was nothing special at first glance, nothing that promised value or excitement. An elderly woman named Mary stopped in front of the sale. She lived nearby and liked to walk in the mornings to keep her legs strong. Mary was in her early 70s, with soft gray hair pulled into a simple bun and a calm face shaped by years of patience and work. She did not come looking for anything expensive. She only enjoyed browsing, touching old things, and remembering the past. Mary lived alone in a small house filled with memories. Her husband had passed away years ago, and her children lived far away with families of their own. Money was always tight. She planned every purchase carefully and never wasted a dollar. Still, she allowed herself small joys, like visiting garage sales and thrift stores. She slowly walked along the driveway, leaning slightly on her cane. Her eyes moved from table to table. Old books with torn covers. Plates missing their pairs. A lamp with a cracked shade. Nothing caught her interest at first. Then, near the back of the garage, leaning against a dusty wall, she saw a painting. It was not large and not framed in gold. The frame was wooden and scratched, painted dark brown many years ago. The painting itself showed a quiet countryside scene. A river curved through green land. Small houses stood in the distance. The sky was soft and cloudy, painted in calm colors. Mary stopped walking. She felt something strange in her chest, a gentle pull. She did not know why. She had never studied art and did not understand painting styles. Still, the image felt warm and familiar, like a place she had once seen in a dream. She stepped closer and bent forward slightly to look at it better. The paint looked old. The surface had tiny cracks, like fine lines across dry earth. The colors were muted but deep. There was care in every brush mark, though the artist's name was not clearly visible. In the lower corner, there was a faint mark, almost hidden by time. Mary smiled softly. She did not think of money. She thought of her empty living room wall. She imagined the painting hanging there, bringing calm to the space. It felt like it belonged with her. A young man stepped out of the garage, holding a box of tools. He was the homeowner's son, helping clear out items after his parents moved away. "Morning," he said kindly. "Good morning," Mary replied. "How much for this painting?" The man glanced at it and shrugged. "That old thing. $7. Mary blinked. $7? "Yeah," he said. "Been there forever. No one wants it." Mary reached into her purse slowly and counted the bills with careful fingers. $7 was not nothing to her, but it was not too much either. She nodded. "I will take it," she said. The man smiled, surprised but pleased. "Sure." He helped her wrap the painting in an old blanket so it would not get scratched on the way home. Mary thanked him and carefully carried it under her arm as she walked back down the street. She did not know that this simple decision would change her life forever. At home, Mary leaned the painting against her living room wall and made a cup of tea. She sat in her old chair and looked at it for a long time. The room felt different already, calmer and fuller. Later that afternoon, her neighbor Helen stopped by. Helen was a friendly woman in her 60s who liked to chat and share news. Helen noticed the painting right away. "That's lovely," she said. "Where did you get it?" "At a garage sale," Mary replied. $7. Helen laughed. "You always find the nicest things. It looks old though. Maybe worth something." Mary waved her hand gently. "I just liked it. That's all." Still, Helen's words stayed in Mary's mind. That evening, Mary called her daughter Anna. They talked about family and weather, and then Mary mentioned the painting. "I bought a painting today," Mary said. "Oh," Anna replied. "What kind?" Mary described it as best she could. Anna paused. "Mom, that sounds interesting. Maybe you should have it checked someday." You never know. Mary smiled. I am happy just looking at it. Days passed, and the painting became part of Mary's daily life. She cleaned it gently with a soft cloth. She hung it carefully on the wall using an old nail. Each morning, she sat with her tea and looked at the river and sky. One afternoon, Helen returned, this time with a visitor. This is my cousin David, Helen said. He knows a bit about art. He teaches at a local college. David was a calm man in his 40s with glasses and a thoughtful expression. His eyes went straight to the painting. May I look closer? He asked politely. Of course, Mary said. David stepped closer and leaned in. He did not speak for a long moment. His face changed slightly, becoming serious. This is interesting, he said quietly. Mary felt her heart beat a little faster. Interesting how? The brushwork, David replied. The colors. The age. This is not a simple decoration painting. Helen raised her eyebrows. What does that mean? It means, David said slowly, this could be something important. Mary felt confused. Important. David looked at her. Do you know where this came from? Just a garage sale, Mary said. I paid $7. David shook his head slightly. I do not want to get your hopes up, but I strongly suggest you have this examined by a professional. Mary's hands trembled a little. A professional? Yes, David said. An art expert. Someone who can test the materials and research the artist. Helen smiled widely. Mary, you might be sitting on something special. That night, Mary could not sleep well. Her mind kept returning to the painting. She felt nervous and excited at the same time. Part of her wanted to believe it was valuable. Another part was afraid of disappointment. The next morning, she called Anna again. Mom, Anna said after listening, you should take it to an art appraiser. I can help you find one. Mary hesitated. What if it is nothing? Then you still have a painting you love, Anna replied. A week later, Anna visited and drove Mary to a small art appraisal office in the city. The building was old but clean, filled with framed artworks and shelves of books. They met an appraiser named Robert, a quiet man with years of experience. He examined the painting carefully under bright lights. He used tools to study the paint layers and canvas. Mary sat silently, her hands folded in her lap. This will take time, Robert finally said. I need to research this properly. Mary nodded. Over the next few weeks, Robert worked quietly. He compared the painting to records, studied the signature mark, and tested the materials. Each step brought more questions and more excitement. One afternoon, Mary received a phone call. Mrs. Mary, Robert said, please come in. We need to talk. Mary's heart raced. Anna drove her again, holding her hand in the car. At the office, Robert stood waiting. His face was serious but respectful. What you bought, he said slowly, is not just a painting from a garage sale. Mary swallowed. This work, Robert continued, appears to be from a well-known artist from over 100 years ago. A piece long thought to be lost. Mary felt dizzy. A lost piece, she whispered. Robert nodded. If further confirmed, this painting could be worth a very large amount of money. Mary looked at the painting, the same calm river and sky she had loved from the beginning. It had not changed, but her world had. She had paid $7 for it. And now, everything was about to change. Mary sat quietly in the appraisal office, her hands folded in her lap. The words Robert had spoken stayed heavy in the air. A lost painting. A valuable artist. A future she had never imagined. Anna squeezed her mother's hand gently. Mom, are you all right? Mary nodded slowly. I think so. I just need time. Robert spoke calmly. There are more steps before anything is final. We must confirm the history, the artist, and the records. This process can take weeks, maybe months. Mary looked at the painting again. It was the same peaceful river and sky she had loved from the start. To her, it was still just a beautiful picture. The idea that it might be worth more money than she had ever seen felt unreal. "I understand," Mary said softly. Over the next few weeks, life became busier than Mary had ever known. Robert contacted art historians and research centers. He sent detailed images of the painting to experts in other cities. Each message brought new interest. Mary stayed at home most days, waiting. She watered her plants, cooked simple meals, and cleaned her small house. Yet her mind was never quiet. She thought about the painting constantly. Helen visited often, bringing tea and news. "People are talking," Helen said one afternoon. "David told a few friends, and now everyone wants to know." Mary frowned. "I do not like attention." Helen smiled kindly. "I know, but this is big." One morning, Robert called again. "We have strong confirmation," he said. "The painting is authentic. It belongs to a famous artist whose works are displayed in major museums." Mary sat down slowly. "What does that mean for me?" "It means," Robert said, "this painting could be sold at auction for a very high price. Possibly millions." Mary felt her breath leave her chest. Millions was a word she had only heard on television. "I do not even know what to do with that kind of money," she whispered. "That is something you will decide," Robert replied. "There is no rush. You own the painting." News spread faster than Mary expected. A local newspaper published a small article about an elderly woman who bought a valuable painting at a garage sale. Soon, reporters began calling. Anna helped manage the calls. "She is not ready to speak," Anna told them politely. Mary felt overwhelmed. Strangers wanted interviews. Art collectors sent letters offering money. Some offers were large, others suspicious. "I just wanted a painting for my wall," Mary said one evening, sitting with Anna. Anna smiled gently. "Life can surprise you." Robert advised Mary to choose a trusted auction house. "They can handle everything professionally," he said. "Security, marketing, and fair bidding." Mary agreed, though the idea of handing over the painting made her uneasy. She had grown attached to it. The day came when the painting was carefully packed and transported under guard to a secure facility. Mary watched as it was taken away, her heart heavy. "It will come back," Anna said. "In a different way." As the auction date was announced, excitement grew. Experts discussed the painting online and in art magazines. Some called it one of the most important discoveries of the decade. Mary tried to ignore the noise. She focused on her routine. Still, people treated her differently now. Neighbors smiled wider. Strangers recognized her face. Helen laughed one day. "You are famous now." Mary shook her head. "I am still the same." Before the auction, Mary was invited to view the painting one last time. She stood alone in a quiet room, looking at it closely. "Thank you," she whispered, unsure why she spoke the words. The auction hall was full on the big day. Mary did not attend. She stayed home, sitting beside the phone with Anna. Bidding began strong. The numbers climbed quickly. When the phone finally rang, Anna answered. Her eyes widened. "Mom," she said softly, covering the receiver. "You might want to hear this." The final bid was far beyond anything Mary had imagined. The painting sold for several $1,000,000. Mary felt tears fill her eyes. She was not crying from joy or fear. She was crying because her life had changed in a single moment. After the auction, Mary met with financial advisors and lawyers. Everything was handled carefully. The money was real, secure, and hers. People expected her to buy big houses or travel the world. Mary surprised everyone. She paid off her small home. She set up savings for her children and grandchildren. She donated quietly to local schools and hospitals. She funded art programs so others could experience beauty like she had. One afternoon, Helen asked, "Why give so much away?" Mary smiled. "Because I already have enough." Yet there was one thing she still missed. The wall in her living room felt empty. Weeks later, a package arrived. Inside was a high-quality print of the painting, officially approved by the museum that now owned the original. Mary hung it on her wall. Each morning, she sat with her tea and looked at the river and sky. Her life was different now, but her heart remained the same. And though the world saw a millionaire, Mary still saw herself as a woman who loved simple beauty. But the story was not over yet. What happened next would touch lives far beyond her own. Part 3, 1600 words Kaleko or interesting Hunachia or third-person style Malekni ha or simple basic English ka. Don't use any violated word. So please avoid any violated content. Don't use ... Part 3. After the auction, life slowly settled into a new rhythm for Mary. The phone stopped ringing every day. The reporters moved on to other stories. The world that had rushed into her quiet life began to step back. Mary liked that. She returned to her mornings of slow walks, simple meals, and calm evenings. The difference now was comfort. She no longer worried about bills or repairs. The house felt safer, warmer, and lighter. Still, Mary often thought about the painting and how one small choice had changed everything. One afternoon, she received a letter from a local school. The principal had heard about Mary's story and thanked her for supporting their art program. The children had new supplies, paints, and brushes. Some students had never used real art tools before. Mary smiled as she read the letter. She imagined young hands holding brushes, discovering colors for the first time. That image stayed with her. A week later, Mary called Anna. "I have been thinking," Mary said. "I want to do more." Anna listened carefully. "More how?" "I want to help people see beauty," Mary replied. "The way that painting helped me." Together, they planned something simple but meaningful. Mary decided to open a small community art space in town. It would not be large or fancy. Just a place where people could come, look at art, and feel calm. The building they chose was an old store with large windows. It needed repairs, but Mary liked it right away. "This will do," she said. Renovations began quietly. Mary visited often, bringing tea for the workers and chatting with them. She listened to their stories and laughed with them. She never spoke about money. When the space was ready, Mary named it River Light Gallery, inspired by the painting that had started it all. On opening day, the gallery welcomed everyone. There was no ticket price. No pressure to buy. Just art on the walls and chairs by the windows. People from all walks of life came inside. Elderly neighbors. Young students. Families with children. Mary stood near the entrance, greeting guests with a gentle smile. "This is beautiful," Helen said, looking around. "You did this." "We did this," Mary replied. The gallery quickly became a place of peace in the town. Some visitors came after work to relax. Others came to sketch or write quietly. Teachers brought students. Artists shared their work. Mary often sat in the corner, watching. She rarely spoke about the painting or the money. Most people knew her only as the kind woman who ran the gallery. One day, a young man named Leo came in. He was shy and carried a folder under his arm. "I heard artists can show their work here," he said softly. Mary nodded. "If you would like." Leo showed her his drawings. They were careful and full of emotion. Mary saw something special in them. "These should be seen," she said. Leo's first small display brought his family to tears. For the first time, his work was appreciated by others. His confidence grew. Stories like Leo's became common. Mary's quiet choice had started a chain of hope. One afternoon, David visited the gallery. "You changed more than your life," he said. Mary shook her head. "I only followed a feeling." David smiled. That is often how the best things begin. Years passed, and Mary grew older. Her steps slowed, but her spirit stayed strong. The gallery continued to thrive, run by a small team she trusted. One evening, Mary sat alone inside after closing. The sunlight touched the walls softly. She looked at the art around her and felt content. She thought back to the garage sale. The dusty wall. The $7. She laughed quietly. Life had tested her many times before. Loss. Loneliness. Worry. Yet it had also surprised her in the most gentle way. Mary understood something now. Value was not only in money or rare objects. Value lived in moments, choices, and kindness. When Mary passed away peacefully one winter morning, the town gathered to honor her. The gallery stayed open that day, filled with flowers and memories. A small plaque was placed near the entrance. It read, "She saw beauty where others did not." The painting that made her a millionaire now hung in a museum, admired by thousands. But its greatest legacy lived in a quiet town, in a small gallery filled with light, where people discovered beauty every day. And it all began with a $7 painting and a woman who trusted her heart.